They say when you stare too long at fame, you don't see the lights, you see the shadows. Because behind every face on a magazine cover, behind every singer whose voice makes your skin shiver, behind every poet whose words feel carved into your bones, there is something else. Something watching, something waiting. Have you ever noticed how some stars rise too quickly? How their eyes shine too brightly, as if something burns inside them? And how, just when the world loves them the most, they begin to wither. Fans call it exhaustion. Doctors call it depression. But those who know the truth whisper another name. They say the devil walks among us. Not with horns, not with fire, but with a smile so calm, it freezes your blood. He offers fame like a gift, but the price is carved from your very soul. And when the devil collects, you don't just die, you are hollowed out. Your body remains, smiling, clapping, performing. But your laughter, your joy, your dreams, they scream from somewhere deep below, where no one can hear you. So listen carefully. If you've ever envied the rich, the beautiful, the famous, mind you, it's not about all famous people. Some get fame from their hard work. It's about them who gets famous quickly and everyone doubts their fame. They are already living in hell. And tonight, you'll see how the devil built it for them. Every city has its secrets. Streets where shadows fall too long. Doors that lead to places not listed on any map. And beneath it all, there are corridors, tunnels, and chambers where something ancient waits. They call it the market below. Some say it appears only to the desperate. Others claim it is always there, underfoot, moving from city to city, waiting for the broken and the hungry to find it. And when they do, they are never the same. It was in this market that the devil made his throne. Not the fire and brimstone devil painted in churches, but something worse. A creature who looked human. Too human. A man in a dark suit, his face smooth, ageless, forgettable in the light, but unforgettable in the dark. He did not ask for souls. No, he asked for something far more dangerous. He asked for the one thing you believed defined you. A memory, a voice, a heartbeat. And in return, he made you famous. Rayan was only 19 when he heard the whispers. A boy from a small town, carrying dreams too big for his fragile shoulders. He wanted to act, to be seen, to be adored. But auditions spat him out. Directors barely looked at him. He was fading into the noise of millions like him. And then, one night, walking home after yet another rejection, he heard it. A voice, not from a man on the street, but from the shadows themselves. You look tired of being invisible. Rayan froze. The street was empty, but the voice slithered around him, warm, coaxing. There is a place where they'll see you, where your face will not be forgotten. Do you want me to show you? Against every instinct, Rayan followed. And that was the night he entered the market below. The devil was waiting, and with one calm smile, he asked Rayan, "What will you give me in exchange for being remembered forever?" Kavita was older, a poet whose verses never reached beyond the four walls of her room. Her notebooks were filled with words so haunting they could have carved into eternity. But no one read them. No publisher cared. Until one night, she too was guided to the market below. The devil did not flatter her. He did not coax. He simply placed her notebook on the table and turned the pages, one by one, slowly. "Your words deserve to burn through millions," he said. "But tell me, Kavita, what part of yourself do you no longer need?" Her answer came too quickly. "Take my sleep. I don't need it. Only my words matter." The devil smiled. The deal was struck. And from that day onward, her poetry was everywhere. Viral, adored, quoted by the famous. But Kavita herself never slept again. Her eyes hollowed, her voice cracked, and her mind began to dissolve. Fame came like a storm. The world screamed Rayan's name. Crowds gathered at airports, clawing to touch him, to take a piece of him. Billboards rose overnight, his face plastered across cities like an idol in a temple. Children mimicked his style. Directors called him a prodigy. He had become untouchable. And yet, behind the flashbulbs, he was rotting. At first, it was little things. He stopped laughing. Not once, not even in private. Not a chuckle, not a smirk. Just silence. A hollow quiet where joy should have lived. When fans told him jokes, he smiled, yes. But it was the smile of a corpse, stretched skin over something empty. At night, in his lavish apartment, Rayan sat before the mirror. And sometimes, he swore he saw another reflection staring back. Not him, not his face, but a darker outline, smiling when he wasn't. A reflection with eyes too sharp, too alive, too hungry. He would blink, and it would vanish. But the unease grew. Kavita's rise was stranger. Her poetry spread across nations, quoted by leaders, etched onto murals, whispered in classrooms. Her words became scripture for the lost. But with each verse, something inside her withered. She had given up her sleep to the devil, and so she never closed her eyes again. At first, it was harmless. She stayed awake, writing, energized, unstoppable. But as the days bled into weeks, and the weeks into months, her body began to fail. Her skin bruised from within. Her eyes swelled red, veins crawling across them like cracks in glass. Her lips dried, bleeding with every whispered line. And yet, she kept writing. Pages and pages, her hands shaking, her pen scratching like claws. Sometimes, she wrote words she didn't recognize, in languages she had never learned. The ink poured like venom, twisting into verses that made readers feel sick, unsettled, as if cursed. When people recited her poems aloud, they claimed they could hear another voice layered beneath her own, a deeper voice, cruel and laughing. Fame is not applause. Fame is a hunger. The more the world adored them, the weaker they became. Rayan's body, too, began to betray him. On set, he would freeze mid-line, eyes wide, lips trembling as though someone else were whispering into his ear. Crew members whispered of cold winds that rose suddenly when he spoke. Lights flickered, cameras jammed, and sometimes, when they played the footage back, Rayan's face was wrong. The angles of his jaw stretched too far. His smile cracked wider than skin should allow. His eyes were not his eyes. They glowed faintly, like embers smoldering in the dark. Producers paid to have the footage destroyed, but whispers spread. Something is wrong with the boy, they said. Something is following him. Kavita, meanwhile, drifted further from the world. She began to hear voices in her apartment. Pages rustling, though no wind blew, whispers crawling across her walls. She told her few remaining friends that shadows sat at the edge of her bed at night, not touching, not moving, just watching. One evening, neighbors swore they saw her at the window, her head tilted back unnaturally, her eyes wide and unblinking. She stayed there for hours, unmoving, a silhouette carved in the glow of the city. When someone finally gathered the courage to knock, the room was empty. Her notebook, however, lay open on the floor, and across its pages, written hundreds of times, in frantic, bleeding ink, were the words, "I do not sleep because he dreams for me." And still, the world cheered them louder. Fame devoured them. Fame fed on them. The devil's bargain had been fulfilled, and yet they were still unraveling. Because the devil does not just take what you give him. He waits, he watches, and when the world loves you most, he returns to finish the feast. And it was then, at the very height of their glory, that both Rayan and Kavita began to see him again. Not in the market below, not in the shadows of alleys, but everywhere. In the mirror, in their photographs, in the roar of the audience. The devil stood among them, smiling, clapping louder than all the rest, because the show was almost over. But the devil does not stop at bargains. When enough fame has been harvested, when the world has sung your name loud enough, he comes back. Not to take more, not to negotiate, but to collect. Rayan was in the middle of filming his biggest movie when it happened. The cameras rolled, the lights burned, but suddenly, he froze. His co-stars looked on in confusion as his smile cracked, his eyes darkened, and he whispered words no microphone should have caught. He's here. That night, Rayan vanished from the set. The footage was destroyed. All that remained were the echoes of his scream. carried through the soundstage like a broken hymn. Kavita, too, disappeared. Her final poem appeared online, uploaded at midnight. Fame is a coffin, applause is the nail, and the devil smiles when you bury yourself alive. Her body was never found. They say the market below still exists, that the devil still walks among us, offering fame for a price too dark to bear. And when you see a face rise too quickly, a voice too flawless, a talent too sharp to be human, ask yourself, what did they trade? Because the devil never gives without taking. And one day, he will collect. Maybe he already has. So forget to share your experiences in comments and subscribe to AI Storytelling YTS for more videos.